today I want to talk about praying for strength. Okay. Uh, is strength built in the gym? Of course, right? Go lift heavy weights. You're going to get stronger. I promise you. You'll experience that. If you stick with it for long enough, you're going to experience that. Um, However, true strength, I feel, is forged in struggle. Not necessarily struggle, but like hard times, challenges. When you have to summon your power and conquer an obstacle, and you got to go defeat a thing, and you got to go figure out the answer to a certain thing that you might be dealing with, a certain challenge that you might be dealing with in your life. And this is something that I'm currently going through in my life. And that's why I kind of just want to talk about it. I don't got notes. I just want to talk to y'all about it, right? Like lately for me, I've been seeing a lot of things taken from me, not like theft, but like by God, right? Things have been removed from my life. That's a better way to say it. Things have been removed from my life. Um, I've been backed into a corner, right? Got my back to a wall, and it's like I either act or, you fold under pressure. And in these moments, I've noticed that when I go back to my core value, which is faith, I find the answers. And it just reminds me how powerful my consciousness is, right? And this is something that I want to make all of you aware of, whether you're a child and you're tapped in with me because you train with me in athletics, with ADB athletics, whether you are a former athlete, a young adult, a young man trying to capture control of his life, right? And you tap in with me because you see we resonate, we on the same path, or whether you are a little bit older and you just kind of see like, hey, like you know what I'm saying? The young man is speaking some game. Let me see what he's talking about. We can all agree when you turn to yourself for the answers, you will be surprised with the results that you get. It doesn't happen immediately, right? It doesn't happen immediately. But when you turn to yourself and you go within and say, I need to figure out an answer. I'm not about to wait on anybody to solve this problem. I'm not about to ask anybody to solve this problem. I'm not going to tell anybody I'm going through this problem. I'm just finna handle business, right? When you do that, the answers that you come across, the things that are brought to your awareness, the ideas that are brought to your awareness, the steps that you need to take that are brought to your awareness, the resources that you realize you have access to, the tools that you have, the knowledge that you have, the power that you have to change a situation, the way that God can kind of encapsulate all of that into one little like message and then drop it off. Like, when I was younger, we used to go pick up my grandma's medication, right? And we would drive up to the little thing where they ask, like, what's your name, what's your information, yada yada, so we can pull up your account. You tell them everything, and then they shoot this like capsule through a tube, and it drops down, and you look out your window, and the capsule's right there. You got to open it up, pull the capsule out. There's some paper in there. You sign the paper, yada yada. Let them know what you need. Put it back in the capsule, and you shoot it back to them, right? Then whenever they get what you wrote on the paper, they'll go find the proper prescription and put it in the capsule, shoot it back. You take it out the capsule, give them the money, boom, boom. If you need change, they send the change back. If you don't need change, you hit the road, right? Now, we function like that with God. So when I say praying for strength, I'm saying like the prayer is the act of putting the paper into the capsule with your request, right? And then you shoot it back. And you know what I'm saying? You got to trust that the capsule is going to arrive to whoever it's supposed to arrive to so that they can pull out the paper, read it, and then send back the necessary resources. When we send that capsule back, there's going to be a time period, could be short, could be long, where you don't get that capsule back and you don't know if that capsule's coming back. Like, you don't know when that capsule's coming back. You have to know it's coming back, but you don't know when. So let's say what's a problem that a common problem people are dealing with right now? Finances, right? Money's tight. The economy is crazy right now. So let's talk about finances, right? Rent is coming up. I don't got money for rent. What can I do to make more money? Because I don't get paid until I don't know, let's say the 10th of the month. Like that's when my next paycheck comes back, but I'm short in rent. The first is tomorrow, right? But I don't get another paycheck until the 10th. What am I supposed to do to make sure that I don't end up late on my rent? What can I do? What can I do? What can I do? Most people would start thinking about this and just panic and spiral. And their mind goes to a place of like, oh, I'm gonna get kicked out of my apartment, or I'm gonna, they're gonna put an eviction notice on the door, or whatever the case might be, right? And then other people their mind is gonna go towards like, what can I do to make the extra money? Oh, okay, I could do this, I could do X, Y, Z, right? So when you think on those two different paths, when you take the first path, that is sending up a prayer and then proceeding to follow the prayer with worry, fear, doubt, energies that are just going to disrupt the connection there, right? So that's like sending the paper in, but all you did was scribble because you were too flustered to actually write a cohesive, clear message of what you needed. You just scribble, send it back. Now, you know what I'm saying? The person at the other side of the little tube chute is like, what am I supposed to do with this? I don't know what you want from me, right? Then there's the person that's like, okay, I know that there's something I could do, but I don't know what it is. So on the paper you're writing, need help figuring out a financial solution to rent. Send it up. On the other side, okay, let me cook. Now they cooking up solutions. In the meantime, you can't go back to the thoughts of fear and worry and all that. You got to just trust like, hey, something's going to pop up. Okay. Now I'll use a scenario that I have found myself in previous years, right? So I remember the financial crunch pitting us in a pinch, and it was like, yo, I don't know if we're going to make rent. I don't know. Then I was like, you know what? I got to turn back to myself. I got to go back within. I got to go find the answer within. At that point in time, my clothing brand was kind of doing, it's a shameless plug. Check the link in the description. My clothing brand was doing pretty well. So I was like, I remember getting a download, and I was like, do this collection. Be patient. Do what you need to do to set up a collection drop. Until then, I acted on that. I got on Instagram and started making posts and promoting it and telling people it was going to be here in a couple of weeks, and like showing people the designs I was planning on doing, showing people some different products I wanted to run and asking what they thought, like, should I do this, should I do that? And I ended up releasing before the first. This was the crazy part, right? When I made I wish I remembered the exact number, but this was about 1.5 years, 2 years ago. When I made the drop, the collection did very well. People were buying, people were ordering. They was just coming in day after day. So I was super stoked. I was super excited. I was like, wow, like God came through for me because I trusted and I took action. I prayed, and then I took action on what I got in terms of, like I sent my prayer up to shoot. What I got back down were my directions. I followed the directions, sent it back up. Boom, the resources came. When I tell you that after I reinvested some of that money back into the brand, paying for shipping products, shipping labels and stuff, I ended up with like, I think $3 more than what I needed for rent. So like ultimately I pocketed like $3, but I made every last dollar that I needed to make for my rent that month. Okay. And this is just using on finances as an example. Okay. Just using finances as an example. That's one realm of life. Most people deal with problems in all realms of life. Whenever I took action, I'm going to just step back. Whenever I took action, I got everything I needed. I made my prayer request, right? I trusted that I was going to get everything I needed in return, and I started taking action. These are the things, these are the steps. This is the mindset, the mentality, the way that you have to think whenever you're facing hard times and facing struggle, okay? Because like I said, ADB is not just a fitness brand. This is a lifestyle brand that's about just taking your life to the next level, making yourself the best version that you can possibly build yourself into. So you got to understand that fitness is a big part of it, but your faith is going to be an even larger part of it. This whole process of just reclaiming your power, becoming who you need to be, becoming who you said you were going to be, right? You got to understand your faith is going to play a huge, major role in that right there. Now, again, I don't have notes. So I'm sure there's plenty more that I would like to talk about, but I don't want to make this video too long. So I'm gonna try and bring it to a conclusion here. I just want you to understand that sometimes strength is formed in prayer. Sometimes your mind is the vessel through which you build strength, not the gym. Sometimes you got to turn within yourself, spend the time inside of yourself, spend the time talking to God, spend the time trying to connect with God, right? To figure out what it is that I need to be doing in this moment right now so I can get on the right track, on the right path, and recenter my energy, realign my actions with God. You know what I'm saying? And when you're in alignment with God, you are the strongest that you can possibly be. But remember this. I wish I remember the exact verse. I'm probably about to quote this terribly wrong. I think it's 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 19, chapter 12, verse 19, 12 and 9, something like that. It says that God's strength is shown in our weakness. So when we are going through our toughest battles, when we are at our lowest points, that is when God's light shines the brightest. That is when God can truly show how powerful of a creator we have. You know what I'm saying? Like there's things that we can't do, things that we can't see. You know what I'm saying? Strings we can't pull that we have to rely on God to do. We got to rely on God for those things. So remember that you have an incredibly powerful tool in your arsenal, in your tool belt, and that is simply prayer. Step back, ask God what you need to do, where you need to go, where you should focus. And then in the meantime, keep pressing on, finding ways to make yourself better and further develop what it is that you're trying to do with your life, whether it's a business, whether it's a career, whether it's a relationship, whether it's the state of your home, the state of your car, the state of your finances, the state of your emotional, mental health, right? The state of your physical health. Remember that you can always rely on God to guide you in the right direction. And that's what true strength is. That's what true strength is. The strength we get in the gym is simply another form. It is that strength in another form, right? It is that strength manifested in another way. We rely on God and then we trust the process. You push the weights, you pump the iron, right? You get under the squat rack, you do your squats, you go home, you eat, you sleep, and you trust that your body is going to build more muscle and make you stronger. So you got to move the same way when it comes to your life. Trust that God is going to hold you down. Trust that God is going to get you through whatever challenges, whatever struggles, whatever circumstances you're going through. Pitch your prayer into the air and then continue to move in faith and not in fear, right? Pray for strength. Till next time, ADB. Peace.